So we're here with the Commissioner of the Department of Public Works for the City of Worcester, Jay Fink. Sir, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Good morning.
Here with my co-host, Adam Webster. And I have to say, potholes in Worcester are synonymous. Although we didn't make the top, I think it was the top 50 cities in the United States as far as potholes go. Boston was 36, I believe. But in my humble opinion, and this is no knock on you, sir, I think we should be ranked a little higher there. But there is a website that you guys have that people can go to, right, to report a pothole?
That's correct.
So,
And you can access it through the city website, go to the Public Works, and you can report a problem, go under potholes, and it's relatively easy to go ahead and do that. And if you're doing it on your smartphone, you can even upload an image of it.
Oh, really? I should go out there and just start taking pictures of potholes. I'm sure you guys would love that. Oh, there's Shu again. He's like uploading another picture.
You can certainly do that, although hopefully we'll beat you to the punch and have our crews out there, hopefully before you get there. That's our goal. It's pothole season. Let's put it that, and it came early this year. Typically, we don't see this until later in the month and even into March, and not really sure whether it was the snow, the cold temperatures, the rain that came in, then followed by additional freezing. But it seemed like over the last few days, it's like flowers in spring. They just sprung up everywhere to the point where, in some locations we had potholes as deep as 6 and 8 inches that just literally developed overnight.
Yeah.
So we were out, we're out most nights either treating the streets or filling potholes. And today I've got a couple crews out there doing nothing but trying to repair some of the worst of the potholes that we currently have.
So in fairness to you, Commissioner Fink, our number one pastime around here is complaining, and we're very good at complaining about a lot of things, potholes being one of them. But we live in an area where the weather is just the perfect storm for potholes, and when you say it gets warm, it gets cold, it gets warm, it gets cold, these things are popping like crazy, and there are some very deep potholes. But wouldn't this be like painting the Golden Gate Bridge, where as you're filling them, others are popping up, and your team is doing your best to get to as many as possible, but there's only so much you could do?
Well, it does seem like a self-defeating purpose, but we are relatively vigilant as far as continuing the process. This time of year it's difficult because I can fill a pothole with some material, and depending upon how well that material binds to the road, it may, in the matter of 2 weeks, another freeze-thaw cycle comes through, it may pop right back out again. One of the things with Worcester is we have these major roads that see tremendous volumes of traffic. We also see roadways that have significant buses, significant trucks. All that really adds to the wear and tear and the likelihood that what might be a defect in the street relative to a crack or something like that will suffer water intrusion, that will freeze, that will then expand, and all of a sudden, boom, the asphalt mix is gone, and now that continued pounding by those vehicles just creates such a bigger problem. You see on the highways when you get towards Boston, you see these potholes develop and they swallow up cars, and that's pretty much what happens. It's all the volume of traffic and the continued pounding that just creates, this ability for a pothole to form and become, relatively large or relatively deep. So what we need to do is, try to stay ahead of it, try to keep things manageable, and that's what we're aiming to do.
So the website is really easy to use. I went on there. You have a map, though, and so basically it has a little green mark where all these potholes have been reported, and then a red mark means that you guys have fixed it, right? I just see nothing but green here so far.
Well, and they're out there, as I say. They were out there last night. They're out there today. Sometimes the fix, if you will, as far as the computer goes and updating the records, isn't instantaneous, but I will assure you that we're all hands on deck when it comes to potholes and trying to clean these up.
What about people who say, and I've heard this a lot, that some of the roads that have a lot of potholes on them and multiple potholes that are filled multiple times and keep getting refilled and refilled, isn't it cheaper over time and a better option to just repave the roads? Easy for me to say, but what are your thoughts?
Well, it certainly does sound that way. The city does spend in excess of $6 million a year in repaving roadways. So you would think, well, that sounds like a lot of money, and it seems like we should be gaining rather than losing, but in reality, it's only about half of what's really needed in order just to maintain the roadway surface. If we don't spend that, double that money every year, we basically lose. And in order to gain ahead, we'd have to spend significantly more than that. The other thing that we're trying is, if this is the situation during this season, how do I make the most of it in the off season? During construction season, what can I do to roadways to prepare these things? And that's partly why we look at tracking the potholes. So when we see here's clusters of potholes or here's problematic roadways, here's where we need to put some resources in. If we can't repave the road, how can I repave a portion of the road or take care of this stretch of roadway that just seems to be problematic? And the other thing that we've tried to do, again, I told you the sort of formation and the science behind a pothole is that water intrusion. One thing we tried last year and as a pilot is we're going through and we're taking a test street of a street and crack sealing it, similar to what you might do with a driveway or something like that. And by crack sealing the roadway, you're basically trying to seal those cracks so the water can't get in, therefore it can't freeze, expand, and create potholes. So some of those strategies that we're trying to put in place are really geared towards exactly this type of season. How do we preserve our roadways and keep the longevity of them, but also keep them passable during freeze-thaw cycles when we experience this level of potholes?
Well, Commissioner, we appreciate you joining us this morning and explaining all that, because that's what people, as you know, you hear more than we do most likely, talk about during this time of year. And again, if you go to worcesterma.gov and you can find the pothole reporting site there, and you can report where it is, the street, the cross street. You can even take a picture, you said, right, and upload the image. And let them know it's there so they can get on it. So, Commissioner, thank you very much, man. We appreciate you taking the time to come on with us this morning.